This episode of Fermented Adventure the Podcast features Amy Holmwood of Holistic Spirits Company. We had a captivating and educational conversation about this cutting-edge spirits company. Be sure to reach out to Amy and Holistic Spirits Company and let them know what you thought about the podcast. Cheers! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, craft spirit enthusiasts, and those interested in the intoxicating world of craft distilleries, cideries, meaderies, wineries, and the occasional foray into breweries. It's Rich Shane, and welcome to Fermented Adventure, the podcast, where we bring you the fascinating people that are making the mash, fermenting, distilling, bottling, pouring, and delivering to you some of the finest libations in the world. Before we get started, here are a few housekeeping items. Thank you for bringing the podcast into wherever you are and whatever you're doing. We truly are grateful that you have chosen to listen and make us part of your day. It would mean the world to us if you left a 5-star review. This helps us climb in the rankings, and it makes it easier for others to find us. Don't hesitate to leave us your comments as well. If the podcast didn't meet your expectations, tell us why. We're always striving to improve. You can find us at fermentedadventure.com. We are on Instagram and Facebook as Fermented Adventure. Email us at fermentedadventure@gmail.com. All right, FA Nation, let's meet our guest. She's Amy Holmwood. I'm Rich Shane. This is Fermented Adventure, the podcast. Amy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Rich. I'm so excited. Thank you for thinking of me.
Well, we think of you. We had Origen. We had your vodka at BCB, Bar Convent in Brooklyn. We're going to talk Holistic Spirits Company today and all that's going on. You guys are setting the world on fire. Social media is blowing up. And as we talked in the beginning of the podcast, you're a newcomer to, everything that's the spirits world, and you're turning heads right away. How did Holistic Spirits Company get started?
Crazy ass idea from an entrepreneur. I was looking for a product like this for myself and my family. And I realized, my gosh, if we could create something that was a little bit less unhealthy, because we have to be really careful about how we talk about holistic spirits and how we develop the products. But, I was looking for this type of product and I didn't see it on the market. And I am an entrepreneur. I've been working since I was 14 years old, pretty much. I've never really worked for anybody else. And one of the things that you always think about as an entrepreneur is what if the product that you would like to create can solve a problem for you. That's really cool. And I was like, wow, nobody's doing this. So this is where the idea incubated. And as an entrepreneur, I had retired already from another industry. And I was like, maybe this is something that we could develop. And that's how it started.
Okay. You said a lot, but a very little there. Talk about this idea of this vodka, and now you have a gin, but talk about what you were looking to solve for yourself and your idea as an entrepreneur to bring this to market.
Basically, alcohol is a toxin, right? So no different than, cigarettes. And I mean, it's regulated, Tobacco Trade Bureau, firearms, it's kind of under that umbrella of the government for a reason, a good reason. I like to enjoy a cocktail. My husband and I, we've been in business together for years. We travel a lot. We're very social. And we also are very much into wellness and health-related natural health solutions. As a woman who's growing older and likes to be active and have energy, it was like having a cocktail was starting to, get a little different as we get older. The way that our body metabolizes alcohol, particularly women, have a harder time. And so I do have a background in plant science and in biotechnology. And I also just had a tremendous amount of interest over my life in natural health and learned a lot about it just literally by self-education and research, which everyone can go on to pubmed.gov, which is a website for the government that's free. If you want to look up anything, you can find it there, peer-reviewed research. So I started researching, alcohol metabolism and ways to have the body be able to handle alcohol better. And so it really goes into more of a scientific approach, even though we used all natural methods to make Origen holistic spirits and also Harmony holistic gin. It's really the way your body metabolizes alcohol and what happens during that process, which is a little bit different than just taking a supplement or taking some kind of a, little liquid. There's like a lot of products out today people are seeing, right, to like help you feel better the next day. What I was looking for was actually having the solution inside the drink so that you're metabolizing it at the same time. So this was the idea. If we could just make that a little bit better, then maybe it would just not do so much damage. And again, we can't make any medical claims or health claims. It is alcohol. It's very highly regulated, similar to pharmaceuticals and, cannabis and things of that nature. So we have to be really careful. But we did do the research. We did find a team of people to help us develop a product that had that liquid there with those polyphenols and catechins and all the good guys that are in plants to actually maintain their benefits while you're drinking the actual brands that we offer. And we'll continue to develop other brands as well, using the same science that we used and how to make. Basically, we have a utility patent that we filed that we should hopefully get granted because we actually discovered something that was unexpected when we made our first batch, which was really cool.
It says it right on the label, formulated with nature and science. And when we met, this is right up my alley because like you, Dawn and I drink spirits. We drink wine and beer, and we're very health conscious. We want to be able to live a healthy life. But look, we get to enjoy, we get to imbibe. This isn't an everyday thing. But meeting you and at your area, your booth at BarCon in Brooklyn, we come across this and we're like, wow, all right, this is right up our alley. So what was the response for you, or what were some of the experiences for you at BarCon in Brooklyn last June that, really kind of, people, when they see you the first time, what was that kind of response?
Well, there's definitely a curiosity. And, as I said, there are many things we cannot say that we would love to be able to say. So what we started to say was drink holistic. Okay, so if we have that on a sign, hashtag drink holistic, we're allowed to say the word holistic. We got approval from the TTB, which was so cool. So happy about that. Big deal, right? To be able to say that. But we have an approach, the holistic approach to our company creates curiosity. What does that mean? What does drink holistic mean? And there's an automatic association with maybe something a little bit better. So we did get that response at BCB. But as you know, it's a very industry focused event with the attendees being, bartenders, mixologists, brands, and distributors, right? And salespeople from all over the world. It was amazing. Never been to it before. A lot of skepticism, which I'm like, bring it on, because again, that's that second piece of entrepreneur mentality, which is if the idea it's called a contrarian truth. If people don't believe, if it's contrary to the truth, which is alcohol is a toxin, then it's a really good business opportunity because people don't believe it's possible. But when I knew that it was, and we proved it with scientific validation, that's something that even though we're the first ones to market to actually really do this, there are some other companies who have tried. Not easy to do because you can't say what you want to be able to say. That's the challenge. But there is a curiosity around this right now. People want better things, just like you and your wife, Rich. You guys, you work out. You guys are incredible cyclists. All the things you guys are doing that we do as well. We want better things. And you can just see it everywhere. So there was a lot of interest, but again, a tremendous amount of skepticism, which I am always excited about for the reason I just told you.
Amy, you have and this is, again, why I was fascinated and I couldn't wait to speak with you just here together rather than having everybody milling around and going, Origen, holistic, what is that? So this is our time together, but what you're bringing to me and what takes me back to our first initial, hey, I'm meeting you for the first time, is this fierce passion, this definiteness of purpose. That you're on a mission to bring this product and other products to the marketplace, as we talked about in the beginning, that might be a little bit more different, a little bit more, I know it's like those, what words can you say? Better, more healthy. But to me, you have this fierceness, this passion. Where does that come from?
It comes from literally a fire within me to do things that are going to make the world better. I like better stuff. I want that for me. I'm very interested in the science of longevity. It's called biohacking, where you're looking at different ways you can hack your own genomic, your epigenetic code, if you will. I mean, we're a computer. You and I are speaking to each other. We are firing on all these cylinders and neurons and pathways all at the same time. I just had a little caffeine this morning, it's firing some different things. That happens when you drink alcohol as well. Everything you put in your body is going to fire some code. And so that I have so much curiosity around how can we make that code operate better? And you're in charge of your code. Literally, there is science, there's proof today that about 4% of your DNA is permanently coded. The other 96% is like up to you, how you create that code and how that works out for you. And if you read things about longevity, like just a book called The Blue Zones. And I think there's actually a documentary that's about to come out.
I just started watching that last night. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it. So that it just shows you right there, the different diet, the way people exercise, the social part of their life, which is why alcohol really is, no matter what anybody says, that social component of bringing people together, enjoying themselves, reducing stress, laughing, having a few drinks is very good for you in so many ways, right? It just changes your code too. Those things matter. I'm so excited about that. And I believe there's so much opportunity within that. And I haven't seen that being disrupted and brought into the spirits world, other than the low alcohol, which I'm so happy that that's happening. There's choices for people. And also, the low and no alc, also, THC, cannabis infused beverages and things of that nature are really exciting. And it's a whole new world, and it's a new frontier. And I believe that there's a lot of opportunity to be able to make that become huge in the spirits world. And I believe that somebody needs to start it. I hope that we can inspire others to learn and come on this journey with us. It's not going to stop. People are going to continue to drink. They're going to continue to want better choices, and also they're curious about, sustainability and regenerative farming, and like, how can we make things better? What can we do with the next generation of alcohol consumers to actually bring forth, better ways of doing business for all the right reasons for the planet? And so this is a big part of our brand as well. And that makes me really passionate about what we're doing and being a part of that.
The word no does not resonate with you, does it?
It's like, it gets the juices flowing because let me just tell you a little bit about my past. I was in the life insurance business for 25 years. So I don't know that there's any other business where you hear no more than someone trying to sell life insurance, because nobody wants life insurance, right? But everybody really needs it. You just don't want to pay for it. They'd love to have it when the airplane's, about to crash and you're like, oh my God, it's a bumpy ride. I wish I bought that life insurance policy. It gives you a lot of peace, right? Peace of mind. And so I heard a lot of no's every single day. And I was like, that's just to the next yes. So it's just the same. It's just a mentality, and also it's like, again, it's that in this industry, in the spirits world, and you've been in it, you're interviewing all these brilliant people. There's a lot of no's in this, a lot of no's, trying to, working on distribution, investors, just even the consumer that just wants that same product every day. They have brand loyalty for really no good reason at all. Maybe it's a price point. Maybe it's just they think it's better because it's gluten-free or something. It's all perception and the way things are marketed. And so it's hard to break through that. Right? It's very hard. And then the younger generation doesn't really have brand loyalty yet because they're trying they have so many different options. Every day there's a new, canned cocktail. There's a new, kombucha, cool coffee infused, martini or whatever. It's like, there's no brand loyalty in the younger people. So how do you take that consumer group and help open their eyes to something different that actually might cost a teeny bit more than what they're spending right now? And that's where we have to re-educate people, because they're willing to spend more on tequila, right? Although what I understand is the tequila pricing starting to come down now. And that's really interesting. So much competition. But the cost of a product also has a lot to do with a consumer's acceptance of the product. If you go high, then they go, ooh, it's super premium. And then if you go too low, they go, oh. But if you're kind of in the middle, it's like, ooh, it's a little bit too expensive. So that's a challenge as well. Learning all these things and trying to figure it out. This is the world we're living in today. And it's every day is like a new adventure, just like your Fermented Adventure podcast.
It is every day. We don't know who we're going to be speaking to, where we're going. You talk about the challenges. You talk about just the outside impacts from a standpoint. How did you take your idea and inception, and who did you have come into your story and your idea to help get, as you said, life insurance, and then fitness enthusiast and longevity. You want to live a good, healthy life. How did you take that and start to formulate the science part of it? You have a little bit of a background to get it to where it's in a bottle right now.
That took us a while, took a couple years. It really was, again, in the beginning, it was looking at what ingredients, what superfoods, which we're not allowed to say. So we're going to say superior foods, because that's what superfood means. What superior plants and botanicals can we use that would stabilize in alcohol in a way that they maintain their benefits? So we had to hire a molecular biology team. We found a Danish scientist that we started with in Oregon that is working on mostly in the supplement industry. These are the scientists that develop supplements and do the research on different plant ingredients that a company might want to put into supplements. And so that's where I started. And I did have some connections in that industry from a nutrition business that I'm still involved in, that I'm very passionate about. So I started that way, and then take those ingredients first, see how, if they stabilize, and then start to mix and work with bases of alcohol, which is the neutral grain spirits, different kinds of neutral grain spirits, wheat-based, corn-based, sugar-based, grapes, potato, all those bases of ethanol that make up all the alcohol, basically, that we consume, have different chemical reactions with plants. There's a synergy that happens, and it's really powerful, and it can go good or it can go bad, or it can become actually toxic. So you see tinctures, people are really into like oils and herbs and tinctures and things of that nature. Alcohol is used a lot to stabilize those tinctures. So we knew that it was possible alcohol will stabilize things, but it will also kill it. So it was a fine balance to figure out how much should we use to just bring that right amount to where those benefits are there that actually will change your gene expression when you drink. And this is what we are doing. We're changing the switches, the code that normally, if you just had a regular wheat-based vodka, I'm not going to name any names, or you had a corn-based vodka, whatever, gluten-free, doesn't matter. All those things have a code, and they're going to have more or less toxicity to the body. And so if we can put those ingredients in there and figure out which ones are stable, that was the first thing we did. And we had like dozens and dozens of ingredients that we tested. And the other part of of what you have to research is what is GRAS certified by the government, generally regarded as safe. You can't put whatever you want in the United States, any kind of plant or botanical, into alcohol. You're not allowed to. You have to look at the list of GRAS certified ingredients. So that was the first thing. That eliminated a lot. You can go back to the government and petition for an ingredient to be able to be added to that list. But again, time, money, lawyers, all of that. So we just went with what was already readily approved by the government. And a lot of those things we have never been used in alcohol before, but they're GRAS certified. They can be used in supplements, they can be used in kombuchas and things, but they hadn't been used in alcohol in a way ever, actually, like artichoke leaf. That's like a mind blower. What the hell, artichoke leaf? Why is that in there? Well, it serves as like a milk thistle. People know a lot about milk thistle, but we can't put milk thistle in alcohol in the United States. You're not allowed to. So, we had to find some alternatives that would do similar things. This took a while. It took us a couple years to figure it out. And then we had to do test batches, right, to see flavor and how much you used and what the color looked like, because you have color. You've got color, right? And people are like, what the hell?
By the way, I love the color, because it's almost this balance between a nice pink hue and almost like somebody might come along, and I'm wondering if they've asked and said, is that a whiskey? Is that barrel aged?
Yes.
Because it kind of takes on those properties of what that barrel might impart.
It does. And often people do think it's aged. And boy, are we excited to do that, actually, to get some oak barrels and put it in there. Probably tastes pretty darn good. But what's cool about that, Rich, is that people that would otherwise never come over to where you are pouring and sampling cocktails to come over and say, oh, because maybe they don't drink vodka. And they come over and they say, what is that? And we say, well, it's Origen Holistic Spirits. Would you like to try it? Well, what is it? We'll just taste it. So they taste it and they're like, ooh, it almost drinks like a whiskey without the burn, right? But you can still taste that vodka taste underneath it. And there was no flavoring added to it, even though our label had to say made with natural flavors. The government made us put that on there. There's no natural flavors. There's no flavors. It's ingredients. We didn't use them for their flavor profile. But what we found is when we combine the 4 ingredients together, the artichoke leaf, the muscadine grape, the green tea, the elderberry extract, they actually created this really, really interesting flavor that is just part of our patent as well. So we have a patent on the flavor as well, how we created that flavor.
What I enjoy and what we have a conversation quite often is that vodka of the past was odorless, flavorless. It was just colorless. A vehicle, to get a mixer or just something into a glass that people would drink. That was like that whole, let's get physical, let's get healthy, let's go to vodka. And I think what our challenge and probably your challenge as well, and your enjoyment too, I think, is when people say, "Oh, this smells. It smells juicy. It almost has an agave, in a way, an agave nature to it because it's got this juicy earthiness to it." And I'm sure that's what's imparted. You get the sweetness of that muscadine grape. So there's so much going on in the nose that you can actually take this vodka and this is a nosing vodka. You're going to find some different properties, some different characteristics. Each time you let the air get to it, it oxygenates and new things come out. And that's so much fun. You've created not only a holistic spirit, something that may be more on the healthy side because we want to avoid kind of wording things incorrectly, right? But something that's fun and enjoyable and different in the vodka space, which is overwhelmed by somebody saying, I'd like to make a vodka today. I'm going to put my vodka out. And that's it, vodka. And there are a lot of good vodkas on the market. Don't get me wrong. But this is a unique, this is like, everybody's skiing downhill in 2 skis and you invented the snowboard. And everybody's like, what's that all about?
Exactly. Yeah, I hope it takes off like the snowboard, but the snowboard actually is starting to decline a little bit. I'm actually a snowboarder for 30 years. So I get that analogy. And it really is. It's a different, it's a new kind of a spirit, basically. And that's what I want people to be curious to taste. Doesn't matter what kind of spirit you drink, tequila, whiskey, bourbon, doesn't matter. Like I know we make cocktails. We make an old fashioned with the Origen, right? We just take our, a little bit of agave. We take our Origen. We take our bitters, right? You get a little orange, you get a little cherry in there, and you've got an absolutely stunning old fashioned. So delicious, but not as sugary. You metabolize it better. It's cleaner than you're going to get from your dark spirits, which metabolize through the liver and the kidney. And we are way easier on the body. And I'm so excited to share cocktails that are so different than what one would use in a vodka. Although today we have so many different beautiful ideas with different types of spirits, which is really fun for mixology, which we're getting a lot of really good recognition from the mixology community because there's so much you can do with the Origen and also our gin as well, which has the same 4 ingredients as its base foundation. And then we've added, the juniper berries and coriander seed and all those beautiful gin botanicals. But it's a new kind of a gin because it has this color, number one, and then it has artichoke, muscadine, green tea, and elderberry again. But then it has, see the iris flower, the rhizome of the iris is called orris root. And orris root is what's used in perfumery mostly, the rose smell that you'll see in like Joy perfume. It's one of the number one botanicals used in perfumery. And it's a beautiful ingredient that gives it's a floral experience, but it also is very juniper forward. I'm so excited for you to try it. I'm so sorry we didn't send you a bottle. You need one.
That's okay. The listeners will now run out to get one too, and they'll let us know their experience before we've had a chance to try it. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
What I am enjoying this again. I know it. You know the forwardness of what you're producing. You said this is a unique spirit. It's a vodka. It's a neutral grain based spirit. But what you almost get is like the first sip is you get the grape. You get like a Welch's kind of.
All right, now you're making me have to pour.
Oh, now you're going to have some. Great. And it's earlier. It's earlier where you are
right now. So I haven't even had my. No, I've had my coffee. I'm just going to have a little taste, so I can smell it. Yes. Oh, so good.
Pardon the interruption. Thank you so much for listening to Fermented Adventure, the podcast. Could you do us a favor? Hit that follow button. It makes it easier for others to find us, and it helps us climb in the rankings. Take a screenshot of the podcast, post it, tag us, and let everyone know that you listen to the Fermented Adventure podcast. Now, back to our podcast. You get this great quality to it. And then where I feel you get the other essences that come in, the other flavor I get, it's 74 proof. And I'm curious, how did you settle in on, was that the formulation? Is that how everything played with the proof? And you said, these things become toxic, but they're not, but then the properties are able to be utilized. Why the 74 proof?
It was truly because the muscadine juice, we wanted it to represent, the flavor profile was so different when we went to 80 proof versus 74. So we really had more of that liquid being the muscadine juice. 7% of the base of the liquid in the bottle is muscadine juice from Ray, Georgia. It's a 6th generation farm, which is it's the largest muscadine grower in the world. Muscadines are only grown in the United States in the south of the Mason-Dixon line, where the weather is humid. It's warm. It literally grows like a weed, but now it's truly is the most powerful grape in the world, used in the supplement industry. And also they do make some wines with it, but muscadine juice is an amazing supplement. And also the muscadine grape extract, which people use. If you take supplements and you see the grape seed extract, the seed pulp, skin, and stem, often that's going to be from the muscadine. And so it's really cool. And people don't understand the muscadine because they didn't grow up in the South. They didn't have grandma making muscadine jelly and all that kind of stuff. Unless you're a scientist, you probably don't know a lot about muscadine, the power of the muscadine grape, which has ellagic acid. It's the only grape in the world that has ellagic acid. Ellagic acid is found in berries. So you've got those compounds that berries offer in a grape. So just look it up. It's really cool. I didn't know anything about it until I hired a Danish scientist that was studying the power of muscadine for supplements. And she was like, you got to test it out. So we tested the powder and we tested the actual liquid concentrate that was made. And the concentrate is it's power packed. It's really cool. So, and delicious, right?
It is delicious. On the flavor profile, you get this nice oily vanilla to this, almost bordering on that marshmallow and the vanilla, but then you get a grassiness to it. And it's the way I describe it, but there's a lot of spiciness. There's a lot of tingling on the palate that lingers. What is that attributed to? Or is that just how everything's playing together?
Playing together.
Okay.
But the green tea is got heat to it. The green tea, oh yeah.
Okay.
Tea has a heat. Obviously, so does ethanol. But there's a heat there, but it's not a burn, and it stays because it's very dry. So green tea can be, if you drink a cup of green tea, often you'll feel like a little dry in the mouth.
Yes.
That dryness creates heat as well on your palate.
This is mind blowing. I mean, I've had this before, and truthfully, when we get to the end of Bar Convent and we're trying to rush, we met you at the end of the second day. So by that time, flavors, our palates are very shot in a way. And
yeah,
but today what's that?
Blown out.
Oh yeah, I would say blown out. But this is now my palate's clean. So I'm experiencing things for the first time that I didn't realize were there. You're so great at educating me, and I'm learning so much, even for the short time that we've gotten a chance to speak together, about green tea and muscadine grape. I almost feel like, wow, I'm a better human being. I'm more healthy just by allowing this into my world. And then you mentioned the gin, and I'm sure there are other ideas, whiskeys or what else are people going to have to look forward to once they become raving fans and brand fans of what a Holistic Spirits company is doing?
We're at the moment, we know we have possibilities of other products, because we've tested other things. We need to get these two products going, pulling off the shelf. Right now, we are focusing on New York, South Carolina, some of the South communities, really interesting, Louisiana, a lot of good acceptance because of the muscadine. Honest to God, people are like, whoa, this has muscadine. They want it. They understand it. Grandma told them the benefits of muscadine. And then in Florida as well, we have some activity down there. And then we are in California. I mean, you can buy our brands, both the Origen and the Harmony, on Reserve Bar. It's right on our website. Our website is drinkholistic.com. Easy to purchase, 48 states, you can get it. We are slowly expanding into different markets to get on shelves. We're just still working through that process of figuring out, okay, what's working and what isn't, and also, what other brands are people asking for. So that's where we're doing a lot of research. There's certainly interest in everybody's like, why don't you make a tequila? We're not going to make a tequila. We might make an agave spirit. We want to make our products in the United States. We can bring in an agave spirit liquid, and then we can use our formula. And so we're playing around with some ideas. Low alcohol, very much we're interested in a non-alcoholic spirit as well. We believe if we can feature our ingredients in a non-alcoholic spirit and really talk about the benefits of the ingredients, then there will be an easier acceptance, connecting the dots. Wow, if this is what this is doing, maybe the vodka or the gin will have those same benefits. And we don't have to talk about it because we talk about the non-alc. So we're focusing on that a little bit. We're also we're starting to make bottles in Mexico using 100% recycled glass. So we're really excited to launch a series of interesting non-alcoholic and maybe that agave spirit in our recycled glass. We already have bottles made, ready to go. Just like trying to figure out what to put in those. We've got to set ourselves up to really scale in some different, interesting ways. But we have to be really careful because it's very, very expensive to be in this business. This is a challenge, right? And raising money, and I had no idea. Like, I had no clue how expensive it was going to be to be in this business. And so that's been really hard, because you want to have a great team. You want to pay for the best people, right? Like, I've always, and my husband too, we've always had incredible teams supporting what we do in our prior businesses. And they stayed for 15, 20, we always had people never left. You want to get those great people, but it's expensive. And also just marketing. And then we had an opportunity with a celebrity that we weren't expecting that came up, and then that became something that was potentially a challenge, because now you really have to spend money because you have a celebrity. And how are you going to use that person, right? You got to do all the stuff, ads and social media. And how do you promote that person in the right way? Because in our case, we have a really authentic celebrity that is not a money grab guy. He doesn't care about any of that. He wants to change the world for the better. His name's Woody Harrelson. He doesn't.
I wanted to tease the audience a little bit longer if they didn't know. So,
sorry, I blew it.
It's all right. I mean, so you've started to do a lot of social media. We're starting to see Woody Harrelson's imprint on the brand. and bringing his personality to that. So talk about the introduction of Woody Harrelson to Holistic Spirits Company and Origen and your gin product that, now is that connection together.
We were fortunate. When we started, we made 500 bottles as a test batch to make sure we could make it and it would stabilize and it tasted right. And he ended up getting a bottle of our first batch from his manager, who's a very good friend of one of our investors. And his manager has also been involved in some other celebrity brand situations. So the manager got it, Woody's manager got it, and read the label. He opened up the bottle, the package, and he read the ingredients on the label. And he said, oh my goodness, Woody Harrelson only will put into his body something where he can read the ingredients, a transparency label, right? All our ingredients are on the label. And so he sent it to Woody, and Woody drank a bottle. He and his wife actually drank a fair amount of it with another couple.
Over a distance of time.
Over an evening.
Oh, okay. Wow.
One evening. And the next day just woke up and was like, wow, not only do I love it, he's a vodka drinker. Do I love the way it tastes, drinking it straight on the rocks, a little bit of fresh grapefruit juice, the way he likes to drink what he drinks. And he likes the cleanest spirits available. And he happens to like vodka. So this was just like right up his alley. And he was blown away. And he called us and said, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I want to get involved in the company. Please tell me everything you're doing. I want to get behind you guys. I want to help you grow your business because this is something that I want to have myself. And I know there's so many people out there that want it. And also it's just a better way to drink, and it's a better way to make a spirit. It's what people need and want to know about. And so he wanted to get behind it. And so it took us a year really to figure out how that was going to work. And he's an investor in the company. Like, he made a significant investment in the company because we weren't looking for someone to just put their face on the bottle. We feel like we don't need a celebrity to make this brand be a success. And it was almost in many instances, a detriment, because there are so many celebrity brands out there right now that distributors, store owners, bartenders are kind of like, I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me there's a celebrity behind this. So there were a lot of pros and cons. But then the minute people would hear Woody Harrelson, they were like, all right, that's a different conversation. Here's a guy that's a 30-year vegan. He's a fitness enthusiast. He is an advocate for sustainability, regenerative farming, veganism, cannabis, the wellness benefits of cannabis, which I don't care what anybody says. Absolute 100% changes gene expression in a positive way, as long as you don't do too much of it. If you do it the right way with, the proper shape, sun-grown, good organic stuff. I'm not a user myself, but I have taken supplements and things of that nature with it, without THC. But that's a whole nother conversation. But the bottom line is, here is somebody who is pushing forward what he believes in a way that he doesn't care about any backlash. He doesn't care about that's part of his authenticity. You never even know what he's going to say, but what it is on his heart, and it's something he cares about and he's passionate about. Doesn't care about what the repercussions of that might be. That gives him a very high trust level from people, that he's a trusting person. He's somebody you can trust. And that is not normal. Okay. In the celebrity world. Sorry. It just isn't always a person that you can feel like, wow, there's a really good intention behind why they're involved in this, right? And the intention of this is 100% authentic and to make the world a better place. And that is the reason that we have Woody Harrelson as a co-founder, because otherwise we would not have engaged with any celebrity. And in the beginning, we were like, well, if we're going to have a celebrity, it should be a woman, female-owned business, women in spirits, like women entrepreneurs. Let's make this shit happen together. But then once Woody was like, no, there isn't anybody else. He's the only person that's actually 100% right for our brand. And the other part of it is he doesn't even want to go out and he's not a sales guy. So you're not going to see him all over the place. I wish we could say you're going to stand in line at every retail store in Miami and he'll be there pouring cocktails. He's not doing that. It's not what he does. He's going to work in other ways behind the scenes for us, right? He'll be available to talk about the story online. He'll go to places and do, if it's the right place at the right time, but you're not going to see his face everywhere. And I kind of wish we could use him more, but he's really busy. and he really is passionate about what he does for a living. And he's very, very focused on what he does and very dedicated to his craft. And he's going to continue to work on his craft. And he's, so that part's hard. Right. So but that's not why we hired him, to have him go around and do tape. That's not why he's part of the group. So we have to make sure that people understand his role. I don't want any confusion out there that you're going to see this guy slapped all over the place on Instagram. He doesn't even have anyone that runs his Instagram. He does it himself. It's crazy. He only has 3.5 million followers. It's like he could have 50 million followers in 6 months if he had somebody out there helping run his Instagram. It's like, I want to kill him. But anyway, we're grateful. And that's what I can say to you right now. We're so grateful to Woody, to his wife, Laura Louie, to his team, Tracy, to his publicist, Ina. I mean, his manager, Jeremy. All these people are absolutely incredible, and they're helpful to our brand. So I just want to say how much gratitude we have, to have them on our team.
Well, I would say if there was a venue that would be perfect for him to be present at, would be Tales of the Cocktail in New Orleans coming up in July of next year. A number of celebrity brand ambassadors do come to that event. And I think with all the bar and spirit industry people there, That's a good venue for it. But to your point, I mean, he's not going to do, and not to disparage Dan Aykroyd, but he's not going to do the Dan Aykroyd tour where, he shows up at liquor stores here and there, and that's okay, because I think people get excited about that. But that's part of the conversation that you brought where we are, that when you speak to bartenders, they roll their eyes and they say, not another celebrity brand. And when you speak to people in the spirits world, consumers like me, truthfully, you hit on it. It's integrity. It's, does this fit? I mean, another whatever is coming out and putting their name on a brand. And and I'm like, I know that Kentucky and Tennessee have a lot of juice in storage, but they were going to release that anyway, whether it was with my name on it or somebody else's name on it, or now a celebrity comes in, because now they can elevate that to something that becomes a spectacle, I believe. And I think the connection has to be right. And when you talked, and you said, you told us when we were at Bar Convent that it was Woody Harrelson. And I went, wow, that makes sense. I mean, not knowing him personally, but knowing a little bit about some of the details that you talked about, this is a man where I can see him holding a bottle, drinking some of this spirit, and I can say, that's a connection. That to me works. And that to me, not that it doesn't change how I feel, Amy, about the spirit. It doesn't. Does it add validity to it? Maybe for some people, but does it add, like, let's say, a provenance to it? I think that's what it does, to say, here's somebody that has these ideals that I can resonate with and I can connect with. And all right, maybe I feel like I'm a little Woody Harrelson when I drink this spirit. Maybe I do. And that's fun, because we spoke yesterday about how smells and tastes, we talk about how things bring us back. And somebody like a celebrity that can take us back to something, that can rejuvenate a connection to past and good feelings, and as a TV personality, as a movie personality, wow, there's so much there I can connect with Woody Harrelson on, that says, this has taken me to a place where I feel really good, and it's fun. And I think that's fun. That's a great place to be.
It is. And I love that you just described that, because fun is a big part of the experience of having a drink. If it can be fun and you can connect it to something that makes you feel good, that's fabulous. I think if you look at like Casamigos, I'm just going to use that as an example, kind of the first big celebrity brand that was so successful, and has kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of these celebrity brands to emerge, right? Because of not just the celebrities themselves saying, wow, this is really an interesting business, but also the manufacturers of, like you said, of these different spirits are saying, hey, how can we move this in a more effective way? And so those guys, they didn't use social media. They didn't even, George Clooney was not a social media guy. a lot of people didn't even know in the beginning of that. It got bought so fast that they didn't really know the celebrity depth that was behind that, And so it was the way it was marketed, the way it was put out there as a ultra premium tequila at a time in history when that just became really, really big, right? And then you had the motorcycles, them on all the trucks, and the way that they scaled. But the reality is they were aspirational people. People aspired to, they felt cooler when they had that spirit, right? I don't know if I think that still probably is the case today. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. The way that was done was really, really well done. And so without using a lot of social media. So that's where I feel we do have a chance to do something truly aspirational with Woody Harrelson, having significant meaning behind how you feel when you take a drink of Woody Harrelson's vodka or Woody Harrelson's gin, that you feel like, that sustainability was less water was used, the quality of how we source the ingredients and the way that the care we took to paddle stir the product and the way it was filtered, and just the people behind making it are so absolutely incredible and mind-blowing, our distillers that we work with. So, there's a lot there that I believe is really aspirational, and people should feel really good about that decision when they have that product in their body and in their home. They should be proud of that. I'm proud of it. And I'm really excited to be able to continue to tell this story. And I appreciate you interviewing me, because it is important, and it's an important thing that people learn that there are better ways to do things. And so we just want to say it's a better way to drink. If you had a choice between A and B, the holistic choice is a better way to drink.
I'll tell you what, that's, we've tempered and we've changed some of our drinking lifestyles for Dawn and I, because we want a better way to drink. And we don't want to have that fog and feel drawn down. And so we want to have a better way to drink. You mentioned that you're available in 48 states. Is Pennsylvania one of them?
It is.
Good. Okay. Yes. And I know you have a connection to this area, and you've got some things going on. Anything you can talk about in the Philadelphia market or Pennsylvania market that you've got some projects or things that the local listeners can hear about?
Sure. Yes. We spoke about, I was born in Bryn Mawr, at the Bryn Mawr Hospital. My parents grew up there on the main line, and then my parents divorced. So I ended up moving to California, but my father was always there. So very much still cousins and family and everybody, from my Holmwood side, pretty much in Pennsylvania. We don't have a distributor that puts us into retail stores there at the moment. We're working on that right now. We have the ability, though, through LibDib, which I guess I'm giving them a plug right now, because they're helping us get to some of these other states. LibDib is an online distributor platform that's actually, we met them a couple times at BCB and ended up talking with them about, before you get this national distribution, right, with bigger distributors, you got to kind of be like guerrilla tactics and figure out, how can I get in these places? So Pennsylvania, we actually can have parties, we can do events, we're licensed there. We're working on getting into retail stores. It's obviously a control state, so that's a whole different conversation, a little bit harder. But we did some events at the Radnor Hunt Club, which is like, okay, what are you doing at the Radnor Hunt Club? Well, what wouldn't you be doing at the Radnor Hunt Club? Exactly.
That's a perfect venue.
It's incredible. They ride like 5 days a week. They actually do fox hunts. They don't kill any animals. This is a very high-end, like athletic riding club. And so they have flask parties. And I met them at the Hampton Classic. We're a vodka sponsor of the Hampton Classic, which is one of the most highly ranked equestrian events in the world. People from all over the world come to that event in Bridgehampton, New York. So we were the sponsor this year and last year. And we met a bunch of equestrian people from the Radnor Hunt, which was really cool. So we did a party. We did their flask party. So the way that you really want to drink this, honest to God, how good is this in a flask? skiing, riding, hike, whatever you do, wherever camping, you want to put Origen Holistic Spirits in a flask. It's so yummy just by itself. So they were so excited to have it. So we did that. And they were just all over it. And they said, please come back to the Concours d'Elegance, which was last weekend, right? The big automotive event with all the classic cars. So we had a booth there. It was fabulous. We were very well received. I had my family there hosting that. So yeah, we've done a little bit of stuff. So you're going to see us out there. You're going to see us online doing a bunch of things, doing a lot more events in Pennsylvania. So we're psyched, and we'll connect with you and let you know what we're doing. Maybe you can post some things on your Instagram to invite people to come to the parties.
When you're out here in Pennsylvania and hosting some of those events, maybe we can get you to Roger Wilco out in New Jersey, Jamie Arkang, who's a big listener to the podcast and a guest, but he hosts a great group, Wilco Whiskey Group, and have you introduce them to the product as well. So look, we're big fans. I mean, I have to say, this is just such a delicious spirit, and that's where it has to start, Amy. You can have all the celebrities behind your brand. You can have all the ideas and the formulations and everything that you want to do to make this holistic, right? If it doesn't taste good, people will just say, okay, great, it's another thing, but it doesn't taste good. But this tastes amazing. This tastes delicious. And this is something, as you said, maybe I'll put it in the bottle when I'm biking, and I'll drink that later or towards the end of my ride or something like that. But this is a wonderful spirit. And you, as the originator, you and your husband and the team, like I said, you're fiercely passionate. And I love that. I love that you're determined, because that's what it's going to take to get this to people and get this on their lips and in their mouth to say, there is a difference, and this tastes wonderful, and I want to have this, and I want to make this my spirit of choice. And then, oh my God, there's a gin, and there may be an agave spirit, and we've got low alcohol and no alcohol, and all these things that I can wrap myself around a brand on and say, this is my space, and this is where I want to be, and this is wonderful. Amy, is there anything we haven't talked about on the podcast today? Anything you want our listeners to know more about you or Holistic Spirits Company?
I would just say, for people that are intrigued by the industry and are wanting to get involved in the industry, it's so exciting. And I would encourage people out there that are putting their toe in the water, that have great ideas, to just don't listen to the naysayers. It is very competitive. There's 68,000 brands out there, that we're all competing against each other in some way. But if you have a passion and you have creativity and you are interested in, the making, the science, and this is an artistic industry, and it gets all the juices flowing. It's very rewarding. So I would just say, don't let anyone stop you. If you have a great idea and you want to get involved, go for it. And you can always reach out to me, Amy Holmwood, at gmail.com is my personal email, honest to God. I'd love to share any insights I have, or just share entrepreneurial ideas and all the challenges. And I want to be a resource for other people. And that's super important, that people know that I'm available to talk and give them at least feedback on what we're up to. So thanks again, Rich, for giving me a chance to do that here.
Amy, thank you for your time. I'm grateful for this. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. Like I said, at Bar Convent Brooklyn, you only get a smidgen amount of attention that we get to have together. And having an hour today, look, I got a full bottle. Maybe I'll do the Woody Harrelson thing and I'll finish this and I'll wake up tomorrow and see how it goes. But thank you for your time today. And we're grateful that you're a friend of Fermented Adventure. We can't wait to see you out at one of the events here. If we don't get a chance to see you by Bar Convent Brooklyn next year, if you'll be there. But we're excited about what you're doing. We're excited about the ideas that are coming to fruition. So thank you for all that.
You're welcome. And just go to drinkholistic.com to learn more about what we're doing. We have cool recipes. We have blogs, a lot of stuff to just give information to people. We're just building out that new website. So I would love people. We just literally came out last week. So please give us feedback. Go on and give us some reviews. Order at drinkholistic.com. You can get it in 48 states. So I just want to make sure people come on and see our site and give us some feedback. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Have
Cheers.
a great one.